Well, what happened with the second Oasis album was that Noel began to take seriously being the voice of a generation, or the lyricist of a generation. He started to write anthems, self-consciously write anthems. He wanted the music to be bigger.
Of all the anthems on the album, one song would come to define the new Oasis.
My earliest memory of Wonderwall was, it was sort of these drums, acoustic guitar, and a guide bass that Noel had put down. And to hear it stripped down like that, it really sounds, it's a real reggae song. It's got a real sort of reggae feel to it. I remember Liam coming in like, what? I'm not singing on that, you know, it's like reggae song. And Noel's like, well, it's not a reggae song. We finished it, it's drums, bass and guitar. Chill out. So this big argument, Liam storming out. That's my earliest memory, really, of the song. Was Liam ranting, saying he's not playing reggae songs, you know.
Today is gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now, you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now. Backbeat, the word is on the street that the fire in your heart is out. I'm sure you've heard it all before, but you never really had a doubt. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
And I don't know why that song kind of took on a life of its own. You'd have to ask somebody that likes it.
I think it's a really good song. Wish I'd written it. Great song, great vocal on it. It's a good voice, Liam. I think that's their finest moment.
Because maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me. And after all, you're my wonderwall.
It wasn't called Wonderwall for a fucking long time. It was called something appalling, like Wishing Stone or something fucking stupid. And there it was, the George Harrison film. Brilliant. What's a Wonderwall? Who cares? Sounds great.
Anybody feels the way I do about you now.
Wonderwall brought Oasis an entirely new fan base, most of whom had never bought an indie record before in their life.
The Squares got involved. And once Squares get involved with your music, you fucking become massive. Seriously. But Wonderwall, it's not, you know, it's not exactly an edgy tune, is it? I can't believe how many records it sold. It was incredible. I became a millionaire 4 times in 1 week. 1 week.
Damon Albarn tells stories that he would go out to the pub or into a shop or whatever, and as soon as people saw him, they'd either start singing Oasis songs or they'd put one on the stereo. It just became inescapable.
And then 6 months later, the other Damon and all that lot are saying, well, it's just really fucking hard, man, you know what I mean? So I've got people shouting at me in the streets, and everywhere I go into a pub, someone puts an Oasis. Well, that's what it fucking is, man. You know? That's how fucking hot it is in the kitchen. Those Nancy boys all got a bit fucking freaked out by Fame, didn't they? You know, went Priory and rehab and fucking all got psychiatrists and all that. Our kid went straight back to the bar, you know? We were just fucking having it.
What's the Story propelled Oasis into the orbit of stadium rock acts such as U2. Having sold out indoor arenas and then football stadiums, they were soon running out of venues that could contain them. And so in early 1996, Noel Gallagher found himself travelling up the drive to Nebworth, a concert venue synonymous with the biggest names in rock.
Noel come back and he's like, we want to see the size of it. It's like, it's huge, but then we're going to do it. And yeah, all right. And we, you know, we were confident we could do it. I didn't know what to expect of it. It was like, OK, we're going to do this huge big gig in a great big field. How many does it hold? It's like 125,000 people. It's like, well, we're going to do 2 nights. That's 250,000 people. It was just like, my God.
It was decided that we were going to do it, and then it was like, right, well, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it properly. It's going to be all day. It's going to be a festival. It's going to be a fairground, and we're going to get the best bands that there is around at the minute. Do it fucking properly. Not just print a load of tickets and hope everybody turns up. It was to make it an event and to make a statement.
It was just beyond. I think there was actually ticket applications for the concerts. There was actually about 2.7 million ticket applications for that concert. We could have sold night after night after night after night.
They had the anthems for it, they had the Wonderwalls and stuff, and it felt like a huge mass coming together for the nation. And so you had grown men with their arms around each other, crying and hugging each other, singing along to songs in a mass communal feel. People wanted to be part of a mass communal successful thing. They wanted to feel big and they wanted to feel successful.
From the start, Nebworth was all about setting records. The group's management boasted that the PA system and video screens used were the largest ever constructed.
I had a set of amplifiers that when we fucking played a gig, it was officially louder than a rocket. A rocket, when it takes off, is 104 dB, right? I had a fucking amp rig that was 108, right? This is only 3 years after fucking being in the boardwalk. 3 years. That's how fucking mad it had got.
Slowly walking down the hall, faster than a cannonball. Where while we were getting high. Someday you will find me caught beneath the landslide in the someplace hidden over the sky.
Even the best technology available struggled to cope with the sheer scale of the event.
The place was so big, when you heard some music, it was after they'd sung it on the screen. That's how big it was. It was a fairly unsatisfactory experience for most people, I think.
We couldn't get hardly anywhere near the stage. And I remember being about half a mile away or something like that, so as close as we could get. And when Oasis were playing Wonderwall, there was a load of people standing round us that was singing along on the shoulders and people and stuff and there.
Today's gonna be the day that they're gonna throw it back to you. By now you should have somehow realised what you're not to do.
And all I could hear around me was a load of cockneys going, and after all, you're my Wonderwall. And I was standing there like, look, I prefer Liam's version, actually.
It wasn't what we were about, you know, we were like the band of the people. It was like people could relate to us. That's exactly what I couldn't relate to. If I was a kid out there stood at the back just squinting and by the delay towers, I'd think, well, it's not the same band we saw at Water Rats, is it, a couple of years ago? Brilliant, I'm sure it was all spine-tingling and whatnot. I mean, it was for me up there, but I don't think we should have done it.
We're supposed to be working-class lads, why don't they look after us, you know what I mean? Lower the prices a bit.
Once the fans had left and the clear-up of the site began, it became clear that Oasis had taken indie music as far as it was possible to go.
I suppose Oasis at Nebworth is like, if we're going to say this was as big as it got, it's sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of like the last days of the Roman Empire, isn't it, you know? It's how far has indie come, you know what I mean? Then that they could play that gig, which I believe is something like the biggest single concert audience there's ever been on British soil, something like that. And for an indie band, and at that point you do start to think, these terms now are meaningless, you know? By definition, an indie band can't play to 200,000 people.
I think there's a general feeling like the next week that, well, that's it. What next, you know? Playing the roof of Buckingham Palace.
The Britpop years saw indie music move out of specialist record shops and onto the shelves of supermarkets. From now on, it would be a catch-all term for the sound of mainstream British rock.